Sadly, it's just not good quality because it takes like 80 minutes still.
Mm.
But I hope you can use it.
Yep, let's see how bad is that. You sent me the DMs, the link. Yep. Yeah, YouTube takes a while to process the videos to HD quality, but yep, looks
Yeah.
good to me. Nothing wrong with this. You played on NA?
No. Europe.
West or not?
Yeah.
Your name is Flowkey, nothing, no weird.
Nothing weird, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Uh, yeah, did you say you role swapped to jungle this season or was it someone else?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
It's I swapped from AD carry.
Oh, okay. You have kind of a kind of a unlucky timing there. Jungle gets nerfed pretty hard and ADC gets buffed really hard, but yeah. But it's fine. Just play what you want. Play what you enjoy more so. So I have nothing against role swaps, and it's obviously something you want to look into before you kind of double down on a role and just kind of like beamline on one role. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. I see you played a lot of Trundle here. You're kind of trying a lot of champions. Is that something you want to comment on? Or is this like something how you approach the game? Do you have like a solid champ pool or do you just kind of play everything?
Um, at the start of the season, I had really good games with sylas, but it went down the hill pretty
Hmm.
fast. So um, I tried maokai then and Nocturne. I played a lot last split or
Hmm.
last season, so I already knew him. Besides that, yeah, um, I'm going back to Trundle right now because I struggle a lot, like with different champs.
Yeah. So usually the way you want to approach this when you're not sure what you want to play is, I wouldn't like I wouldn't think of it as much like, oh, I get a good block, for example. Here, I get a good stuff going on with my Trundle, and then you kind of start losing, and then you're like, maybe I don't want to do that. For example, if we look at it's a pretty good example on Nice's OPGT actually. What he does is he like constantly switches these champions when he runs into a bad patch, and you can't basically just learn one champion, and it just makes it more difficult for you to actually get the focus of the game. So basically, what I'm trying to get here is a champion mastery is pretty important because the more you play a champion or the more mastery you gain on a champion, it makes it easier for you to actually start focusing on the actual game. Uh, for example, map awareness and stuff like that. So basically, try to form a champion pool of like 3 to 5 champions you really like to play and kind of stick to them. Even if you run into a bad patch, for example, on I think here is where we drop Sylas. For example, you lose 4 games in a row. You're like, fuck, this champion isn't for me. Then you switch, and again, then we run into a bad patch of maokai, and then we kind of start dropping maokai. Like you don't really want to do that. That's kind of shooting yourself in your leg by doing that. That makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, champion mastery is really important. So try to create like a champ pool of 3 to 5 champions you really want to focus on. And then you can even go lower. Like for example, you can stick to kind of 5 champions. Then you're like kind of play them out and get used to the champions. Then you're like, maybe I just don't like this as much as the other pick. And then again, it's like it makes it easier for you to swap between those champs. But like the general rule is like 3 to 5 champions at most. Try to create a pool of 3 to 5 champs. But it's really important, especially when you're new to jungle, is that kind of like try everything out so you can actually find that playstyle you like. For example, Trundle likes to gank a lot and invade. He's a strong 1v1 duelist, stuff like that. Michael, on the other hand, he wants to avoid the enemy jungler and kind of play for ganks and stuff like that. So kind of like find the identity you want to have in jungle, and then you can like uh, try to form the pool around that. For example, right now you like Trundle a lot, so I would identify Trundle. Have identity on Trundle, 1v1 skirmish, some ganking as well. But like this is the main thing you want to do. You want to kind of like find the enemy jungler, look for invades, 1v1 stuff like that. Uh,
Yeah, I
for
really
duelist,
like him because I can actually do stuff with Maokai. I just sit
yeah,
there
yeah,
and
exactly.
can't do shit.
Maokai has to play for the teammates more, and Trundle is more of on the independent side. So champions for example from this is like kind of wukong, sylas, they kind of fit in the same champ pool. A bit of Master Yi there as well. Belveth. What else is there? Well, I guess Vi, but Vi is kind of played on the tank build now, so I wouldn't probably put Vi there. But yeah, kind of like, so if you want to start switching champions, it makes it easier for you to look for champions in the same champion identity as the one you have mastery on. For example, Trundle here, if you want to kind of similar playstyle, then you can look for champions with similar playstyle. It makes it easier for you to swap between them. So if you were to swap, for example, to something like Zac or Maokai, they're an entirely different identity. They want to gank, avoid enemy jungler, play objective, stuff like that. So it's obviously, so if you like Trundle, it makes it harder for us to like switch entirely like the playstyle as well. Like we are not only switching to champion, but we are also switching to playstyle. So that's something you kind of want to think about when you start building your champion pool. It's kind of like stick to the same identity you have because it makes it easier for you to transition between the champs.
Yo,
So yeah,
makes
I would
sense.
just
Yeah.
work on getting that champion pool down first, so you can actually like focus on them. Champion is really important. But the biggest thing I think, especially for gold level junglers, is that when you learn the champion, what it does for you is it makes it easier for you to actually look at the map more because the clear you don't need to focus so much on the clear, so you can actually focus on what's going on in the game. And obviously, as jungler, it's really important to focus on the actual game and play the map.
Yep.
Yep. Then we can move
I
on to the
got wrong runes as well in this.
now we have first strike. Yep. Is this a defeat or a victory game?
It's a victory. I still felt I mean, I didn't do bad, but I griefed the game a bit. Early game.
Okay. So do you have any questions like about this game at this moment, or do we just kind of look through it first and then we tackle this as we come see them?
Yeah, the most parts I struggle with is like sometimes I don't really know where to go, like which clear paths and stuff.
Yep. Okay. So as Trundle right now, again, what you want to do as Trundle is you kind of want to look to 1v1 people. You kind of want to look to gank people, of course, because again, you're really strong duelist. So we can look for the 2v2s, 3v3, stuff like that. And again, against Lillia, you can pretty freely look to 1v1 the Lillia and kind of look for her in the jungle because again, Trundle is a really strong early game champion. You beat almost every champion in the game in a 1v1 scenario in early game. So that's something you want to look out for, especially on Trundle. But regarding the matchups, like at this point of the game, what are you thinking about? Like where do you want to go? Who you want to gank, stuff like that.
Um, I was not really thinking about it because Ahri should have pushed right into Akali,
Mhm.
and yeah, you will see it. It disrupts my whole early game. Like we saw Lillia come in level 2 mid, and I tried to ambush and
Yep.
kill her, and
Okay.
then kind of got disrupted with my clear path.
Yep.
So
Yep, that's what you want to do. You don't, yeah. I mean, you want to have a plan, but obviously it's more important that you can deviate from your plan. So that's something junglers do. But what I like to do is this is the moment when I start to look for okay, who do I want to gank, where do I want to path, kind of stuff like that. So, for example, this is a good moment to start thinking about the matchups. So we can actually cover the matchups here. So something to look for, look towards top matchup. Basically, two melee champs. That automatically means that they're going to trade while they farm their farm minions and stuff like that. So we can expect it to be pretty volatile, low HP. Gotta
also
look for
no
gank.
TP on Wukong.
Yep, that's a good thing as well. No TP on Wukong, so one gank can really turn the game into favor of GP. So that's what I like about top ganks, for example, is that usually people love to go bot, but top ganks, especially in these kind of volatile matchups, it's really easy to kind of like get deleted from the game when you lose your, when you gain a lead, or when the enemy has a lead on top side of the map.
Yeah.
No TP and Wukong. So what that means, gank has usually huge impact because again he can TP right back to the wave and get all the XP. He's gonna get denied a lot of gold and CS. Yep, a mid matchup as we notified, it's melee versus ranged. So usually what that means, melee champ has to give up farm. and that usually means that the range champion gets the push. Like that's the general rule about range versus melee. The ranged character gets the push, especially early game. Range gets the push, so that again you can use it to kind of like look for invades, for example. We can use the prio to invade with ahri, stuff like that. But yeah, wouldn't worry too much about this mid matchup, especially early game. But another thing is that also double ignite on mid lane, electrocute. They want to all in, so they want to look for those kill windows, and that's when you can kind of like look to, okay, maybe I could do something here. Bot matchup. So bot matchup, we have strong setup. So that's the one thing I always want to look out for, is that we actually have a thresh. He makes it really easy for us to land our stuff and be able to deal damage.
It's
Strong
the
setup.
enemy team though, and we
Oh,
have
wait, is
Bard.
the yeah. Oh, that's true. Okay, but well, again, Bard also has CC, so that's another thing. So we have strong setup with CC in bot lane.
Also range advantage on both, so it should be fine.
Yep. So again, they have double. We have double range. They have one melee. We can kind of expect that our bot lane gets to push here, but again, I don't think we need to think about that as much. But like, it's important to think about at the start of the game, like this phase, so you can actually kind of predict what's going to happen in the waves. Can look to change CC and kill. So basically, again, like the way I approach bot matchup is there's double the gold and of course double the damage. So if someone gets gold in the bot lane, he gets nuked really fast. But yep, jungle matchup. So Lillia wants to scale up, Lillia wants to full clear. We can look to again abuse that. Lillia wants to full clear and play for 6. We can look to invade early on. So that's something you can look out for. But yep, let's move on to the game then. Okay, level 1. So one thing you want to think about when going for this level 1 anti-invade strats is basically you always want to be where your team isn't. So for example, this GP is here, I would be holding this top brush here. So basically the general rule, you either want to stack with your team to counter the invade, or just like cover as many like entrances from the enemy team as possible.
Okay.
Start of the game, try to cover as many entrances to your jungle. Don't stand where your team is already standing, unless again you want to stack and kind of expect the invade. Yep, so we said bot. So what do you usually? Oh yeah, we are going for level 2 gank. But yeah, again, like this is the moment when it's important to have a plan. For example, the starting side. So for example, if you had like Ornica Santa here, I would never start blue here. You know, so general rule again, always start pathing towards the lane you want to gank. But yeah, obviously in this game, bot lane is a gankable, so I don't really mind it. But it's kind of a decision you have to make at the start of the game. Especially when you're playing an aggressive champion like this, you don't kind of want to full clear on Trundle. It's really hard, and then it'll ship like this. Okay, waiting for her. This one I would press tab and check CS, especially when they show really early. Check tab, see CS. So for example, if she has 8 CS, it's pretty likely that she has done red and Raptors here. But if she has 4 CS, again, we could expect her to go to Raptors first. But yeah, obviously we see that she has red. Yep. Just a flash. She gets away, okay. Let's go with the Crux. So this is really important for a game in general. So we push this guy out of the jungle. She has to go topside. So now we have a decision to be made. We can either try to match her to the top side and kind of like try to invade her here, or what we can do that, again, we know this guy's half the game, she can't do anything. I would immediately look if I have an option in bot lane. This is what I want to look at for the bot lane option. And this is really important for the game in general. So this applies to all stages of the game, but obviously as well to the early game. Especially when jungle is not early. Jungle is show early.
Okay.
Returning. We push the enemy out of the jungle. We know where she is. We know how weak she is. Again, we have all the freedom on the map. So again, now is the time to look for anything we can do. See Lillia go towards top. We have freedom on map. Look for options. And again, the option I would be looking for first before going for this crux is I would peep this bot lane and see, okay, is there something I can do here? If there's a gank, for example, these guys are overextended, whatever, low HP, then I would just immediately run there. Because again, Lillia cannot counter us here. We know where she is. We know she can't do anything here. So basically, the general rule here is we know exactly where enemy jungler is. Look for immediate options nearby or where enemy is. So this is what we call a tempo in the jungle, for example. So I know a lot of people have to talk about tempo. No one likes to explain what tempo is, but so for example, I'm going to explain to you here. So we see Lillia here. She's like on the top side of the map. She's really low. She can't do anything. So now we have tempo to make this play on the bottom side of the map, for example. Or we even have, because she's so low, we also have the tempo to do the top play and play, because again, she's so low, she actually has to recall here, or if she doesn't recall, she's so low that she cannot counter gank us anyway.
Yep.
So basically, we have the move advantage to do something. So basically now we have all the tempo in the world. We can look for anything in the map. Also important thing when going for this crux, especially when invading, you want
The
to look,
wave.
yeah, you want to look out where the wave is. So you can do it by looking at your own minions. But yep, we don't get seen here. Now we just peep bot. Yep, nothing fancy going on there. We do get level 3 here though. Ahri gets a solo kill, nice.
The pillar placement is really terrible.
Yep, it's fine. I don't think we get a kill here anyway. But yep, it's a good try. Again, like this is another moment when you want to look out for the wave, because if you walk here, they're actually going to see you already when you are here. But if you wait for the wave, they are not going to see you until you are actually hugging this wall right here. So again, like kind of look out for the wave, because this wave actually sees you. This champions wouldn't see you here. So again, like it's a really small advantage, but something you need to look out for. Minions give vision.
Can I ask?
Yep.
How long would you like cover for a lane? Like, when do you think it's too much?
It really depends on the wave state, for example, and like how risky it is for. Like if I leave the lane, is my bot lane in danger of getting killed, for example? So so here we can, for example, see that this wave is pushing up. But again, we know where Lillia is. Lillia's on the top side. So if there's no gank, I will just leave it, because I don't think these guys should ever die here. Because again, they have the safety of the wave, and Lillia's on the opposite side of the map. But it's like really dependent on the game. For example, if you're coming from base here and you know Lillia's top side, bot side, and you see this wave, then we can kind of hover for a moment. But the main thing is what we want to make sure is that the wave gets in, and then we kind of like get the safety to leave the area. So basically, I hover until wave is in, or if the wave doesn't get in and nothing's gonna happen, I just go and push the wave myself.
Okay.
Control hovering, hover lane until wave is crashed, or if nothing happens. So usually it's like I'd say 10 to 20 seconds is kind of good rule. Maybe let's say 10 seconds, so you don't end up wasting so much time. Hover lane until wave is crashed, so if nothing happens, push the wave in yourself. So again, when you push the wave in, your laners get freedom to recall, they get freedom to rotate to Drake, whatever. They're kind of safe from getting ganked. Another thing pushing in the wave does is, for example, if we want to deny the gank option from Lillia here, we push in the wave, bot can maybe recall, and then they come back to the lane, the wave is already crashing here, and they can kind of like be safe for a moment. But yeah, we probably want to hit some more camps here. Usually how I like to recall, you build Divine Underwear properly on Trundle, or do you go Tiamat? Yeah. So usually just go for the 700 gold. Yep, the bot lane is really safe. Like there's nothing to do here. We probably don't want to dive in there. Like Thresh is full HP. Caitlyn is pretty high HP. Yeah, there's nothing going on here. So yep, she's on top side. Again, kind of like expected. So what I want you to do as well is just like the laners don't know where the enemy jungler is, but we know where the enemy jungler is because we drove her out of her bot side here. So I would just like usually I just ping these area like danger, pings. So because the laners they have no clue what the enemy or what the jungle does in general, but especially where the enemy jungler is, they barely know where you are on the map. So that's something you want to what to do for your laners. So always try to ping where the enemy laner is, jungler is. Especially like, you can even do it on the side, like which side they are on. Okay, blue side, danger, danger, danger. So again, it was kind of like, this probably, this necessarily wouldn't even happen that she gets ganked here because, or GB gets ganked here because he would know where the enemy jungler is.
Yep, makes
It's always
sense. Yeah.
being where enemy jungler is, your laners have no clue. And again, this is what I talked about. When you see enemy jungler, look for the immediate option. So we see Lillia is top. Again, we could be looking, okay, I wouldn't be looking so much top, I would be looking mid, because again, this is something Lillia cannot, Lillia has nothing to do with this mid play, for example, here. She's making a play already. So always when the enemy makes a play, look to trade it somehow. So every time you have to give something up, for example, Drake or a gank on the top side, for example, you always want to get something in return. That's the basic idea. So I'd be looking, okay, again, she's running. We have the tempo to this gank, for example. Obviously, this isn't looking really gankable. But again, I wanted to check it. I wanted to actually look there. Okay, is there something I can do? Look to trade. Place. We have the tempo advantage. Yep, and now we actually do ping where she might be. Yep, and now we react to the low HP target. Yep, good. Good stuff. Awesome. Yep, and this is really important what you're doing here. Okay, we actually don't do it. So again, you know, as an ADC player or an ex-ADC player, what happens when you kill the enemy bot lane, what you want to do. You always want to push in the wave. That's kind of the laner behavior 101. Always push the wave. So how I want you to think about this or approach these ganks, especially when you gank someone and it's a successful gank, you always want to make sure that you help this guy actually shove in the wave. So again, the lillia can't come here and kind of like fight this or kill this ahri and something like that. Always push the wave. So after successful ganks, you can pretty much always just look for help them set up the wave. After successful ganks, help your laner push in the wave. Because again, laners always do it, so Lena is greed for it. Like this guy could be 0 HP and she still wants to push in this wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look at this guy here. Imagine if it was 0 HP Lillias here, like it's just a freebie for the Lillia. So that's always something you want to avoid. Help your laner pushing the wave. So how I approach these ganks is that gank is it over when the enemy dies, the play is over when your laner is recalling or in safety to do so. Because again, like this guy is really prone to getting ganked, and this is something you can use for your advantage, for example, as well. Let's say Akali solo killed Ahri, she will always greed for the wave. Akali will always greed for the wave, so that's something you can look out for. So the play isn't over when the laner dies, the play is over when the laner is actually out of the map and recalled. The market.
I never really thought about it that much.
Yep, it's really
But
important for junglers. I always want
it's
to help them push the
actually
wave.
easy to apply. So
Yep, yep. It's really easy and really important. Again, like your laner gets solo kill here. I would be looking, okay, does this guy want to stay on the wave, or does this guy have to greed? And if he's low HP, maybe I want to go there if lillias around the area. So stuff like that. Yep, we recall. Get a good buy. I would maybe buy a pink ward here.
yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah. The way I approach pink wards is I always buy them for objectives, otherwise I don't buy them. So if you are thinking about heading for the objective, just grab the pink ward. 550. Grab the pink if you can, especially when you want to head for an objective. So it's a really bad habit to just like perma buy pinks, but you kind of always have want to have some intent behind buying the pink. So yeah. So basically the idea when you're heading for an objective, just grab the pink. Oh, she's actually trying to sneak it. Okay. So can we make something happen here? Ahri might be coming here. Does she? Okay. No, she's coming. Let's see. Can we make something? Yep, we got a pillar back.
Yeah, I agreed way too hard over this.
Nah, I think it's fine. I don't think this.
You think it's fine?
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, the goal is going to trash anyway, so it's whatever. At least we get some value out of this. But another important thing here is that, again, a general rule and timer. Solo lanes, solo lanes get six at 6 minutes. So this is especially important when you have something like Shen, GP, Kato, something with global ult. So you want to look out for the 6 minute timer because again we had the GP ult here. We probably didn't really think about it. So this is especially important if you have a Shen, so because that's when you can go like really aggressive. Another thing is ahri gets 6 here, so that's something you want to abuse, kind of like the solo lane level 6. You can use that for yourself, kind of like make plays around their ultimates and stuff like that. So for example, this guy's here level 5 because he ditched away for the Drake. ahri's here level 6, so yeah, it's good that we go fight this. Yep, I like it. Yep, I don't really care about the death. It's not that bad. ahri gets to pick up a kill there as well. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna expand this a little bit more. Shen GP Katus, for example, really important. You can play aggro on bot side of the map. Bot side, because of global ultimate, and again, other stuff, for example, TF here, stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they always get it at 6 minutes. And junglers get it at 7 to 8 minutes. 7 to 8 minutes usually. And bot lane, bot 8 to 9. So another thing you can use is that you get level 6, you get it 1 minute before the bot lane usually does. So that's when you can look to use your bot. You can use your ult to gank the bot lane before they even get their own ults. Or another thing, for example, if you have like, for example, Bard here or Nautilus or something like that, that you can wait for their 6 instead because they are the one making the play, or kind of like a playmaking ability here. This is especially important when you're playing Wukong, for example, or Vi. You always want to look for the immediate power option you have, because again, you power spike with level 6, they don't even have the abilities unlocked yet. So yeah, on Trundle is not that important, but ult heavy junglers, Wukong, we always think about that. Yep. So this is a small thing here. When we head out to the camps, we have 3 camps up. What I usually love to do always is go for the blue buff first, or the buff first, and then the Crump, and then the Wolves, because that leaves us the most options. So when you do stuff like this, that you go to the Wolves, you are kind of bound to kind of start pathing towards spot. So for example, here we have a Herald in 1 minute. You probably want to play the top side of the map. So let's just start so I can actually, it makes it more natural for us to transition from hitting our camps to the other side of the camps, or on the other side of the map where you want to end up on. And it's the same thing for Crux and Raptors. What you usually want to do is just go for the out of base, just go for the Crux. Just go for the most outermost camp. Because the reason why is, for example, so what we do here is we could gonna end up clearing the bot side of the map, and if we don't want to do anything on the bot side, then it would have to run all this way back to the Raptors, and it's kind of like zigzag pathing. It's just not efficient. We'll start a camp. Crux or Chrome. Just like a general rule again. Obviously, it's kind
Okay.
of, yep. Okay, so here we end up looking for the bot option. Again, when you think about looking towards ganking the bot here, it's like actually look at the lane before you decide, okay, I'm gonna run this way, you know? Because
Okay.
we are kind of like pathing towards the bot gank here, but we don't actually even know what's going on. We didn't even check. I think we just want to sweep here. Okay, I guess that makes sense. We just want to sweep. Yep, they look for the bot. Again, bot is coming here. Maybe we can look for something. They actually give up the wave. Okay, yep. We can look to fight here. Again, just kind of be really patient with your pillar. It's a really important cooldown. It goes on a long cooldown as well. Be patient, because ideally what you want to do with your pillar is you either want to root them kind of like in between a rock and a hard place, or what you can do in this kind of situation. For example, they have Thresh. What you want to look out with your pillar is that you want to actually stop this one happening. So you could actually pillar here and you could cancel the dash altogether, or you could even pillar here, and then again they would have to take a really awkward pathing here and stuff like that. So just like be really patient with your pillar. It's a really long and important cooldown.
Okay. Yeah, I should be fine with like getting the flash. I just greed on the tower again.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Just like kind of the small wins mindset. So if you get something out of it, for example, the flash, yep, that's already good, and we can maybe keep kind of leave the play there. Especially Kaiser 6 here, it's kind of we don't have Pila anymore, so yeah, we are just really creating here. Then we get punished for it. So you always have to assess, for example, when they start running away, they start using cooldowns and stuff like that. Just okay, can I actually do this? And then just like don't try to create for it. So small wins mindset. We get the flash. That's already pretty good. I see that as a win. So the way I want you to think about this, we get the flash. Okay, that's already a win because then you can come back later and maybe punish the flash or stuff like that. That kind of helps you with avoiding kind of creating in general. Okay, I got something out of this. Do I actually want to go for this? Is it possible that we kill them here? Probably not. I have no pillar. I have no W. I have no flash. So stuff like that. Yep, lose the herald. Again, the same thing as I talked about earlier. Go for the crux first. Unless you have a really good plan. For example, you want to hit level 6 here, then you want to fight mid, but that's probably not the case here. So just as a default, just when I'm running out of base, if there's nothing you really want to do, or if there's a plan with you taking these raptors, just default to the crux or gromp. Okay, it's a kill. Again, he's really low HP. Yep, so this is really good that we are hovering. So you can see how this guy's really low HP, but he would stay on this lane to push in this wave, and that would have given this lillia a really free kill. So that's why you want to help your laners to push in the wave of the ganks. If we catch with Ariel, yep, good stuff. Yep, so this is actually really important that we hover here. Is there a reason you want to hover this, or is this kind of like a autopilot thing or whatever? Like we are already
I
here.
saw they are fighting, and I thought if wukong gets away, I'm there.
Yeah, but like this, that we are actually like going to the river. This is what I really like about this because this is really good habit to have. So we are protecting the laner from getting ganked here because they are low HP. So again, what I talked about earlier, they plays it over when the laner is dead. The plays over when your laner is in safety to recall. Really good hover, denying gank with patting the river. Alternatively, what you could do, again, help them push the web. Again, help GP push the web. So again, it basically what it achieves is that they don't get ganked, they get a recall faster. It's just really good for your liners. Your liners will love you for it. And again, it's better for the if you want to win the game because again, they don't get ganked, they don't die. Yep, kill here. Focus on mid. Okay, this is really aggressive. Holy shit. Yep. Again, let's push in the wave. This is really good. Now we could maybe hit the turret or something. We probably want to look for the invade. Yep, this is really good. Again, we know where Lillia is. Lillia is dead, running out of base. Lillia is dead. Lillia's red. Lillia's red, running out of base. We have numbers in mid. We can look for aggressive options. For example, this. So basically now we are using the prio and we are kind of gaining something from killing the enemies. This is really, really good stuff. Let's turn around the base. We have numbers in mid. We can look for aggressive options. Invade, drag, etc. So yep. So this is a moment when you again, we know where Lillia is. We killed the mid laner. Again, we have all the freedom to do on the map. So what I always want to look out for is I want to get the most risky thing, which normally would be risky for me. For example, these raptors or red here, instead of just going back to our camps. It's kind of outpiloting and defaulting on the camps. So this is really good. We get the invade. Awesome. Let's just mid here. Okay. Now we have to be aware at the that the Kali is coming back here.
Yeah, she's coming.
Yep. She actually comes and checks you. Yeah, we actually don't die for it. Oh, yeah, but we have to burn flash. So we can actually apply a timer here as well. Really important. So, okay. So the timer I have is that from base, it takes 28 seconds to get to the center of the map. So basically, how you want to apply this is that, for example, we see Lillia here, Lillia spawning. Okay, so now we have like 30 seconds to do whatever we want here because in 30 seconds she's gonna be here, and then again we can use that for Akali. For example, Akali spawns at 26. She's gonna run here at around 40, 50. Yep. So this is something you can use. So this is basically the window you get from when they are dead, because they are already alive, but it doesn't mean that they are on the map. So this is the time it takes for them to actually get back on the map.
Okay.
So basically how you can
It's a
kind of
lot
like
to keep track of.
yeah, obviously, yeah. But like just kind of think of it like, okay, they respawn. Okay, I have like 30 seconds to be do stuff here before Kali comes back here. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot to keep track of, but again, that's what we want to focus on. That's how we get better at the games. It's like kind of like conditioning yourself to keeping track of a lot of stuff, because that's basically the jungler's role. We just have to track stuff. We track the enemy jungler, we track the camps, we track the waves, whatever objective time is. So basically, jungler is the macro role of League of Legends. We don't have to worry too much about like classing minions and trading, but we have to keep track of everything. That's basically the idea.
Would you have run to Grux at this before standing there, like
Uh,
doing nothing?
yeah, I mean, I don't know why we stand here. I guess we want to kind of 1v1 the Lillia, but again, we forgot about the Akali. So yeah, we see Lillia holding here. We are already done with the Raptors. There's literally nothing for us to do here. So again, we go back to what we talked about earlier. We know exactly where enemy jungler is. Again, we would have the tempo to do bot gank, for example, or we could just go for the Crux here. Yep, just go for the Crux or look for the bot option here. Another thing you could do is you could just recall, spend the gold for the Drake, for example, if you want to be on the Drake on time. Yeah, you probably end up losing the Drake for that as well. So yeah, that's obviously pretty bad. And they get the Herald push here as well. Everyone's kind of risky of dying. So yeah, what I would actually talk about here, when we have the flash, we have to get away. We have the flash, we have no ult. So there are two good reasons to start recalling here. 11 minutes, two good reasons to recall instantly. One, low HP, we want the recall for the resource. We want the recall for the resource, because again, it makes it so it allows us to actually be able to go for these plays and like kind of impact the map. So obviously that's again really important for jungler. Always want to recall for the resource. HP is low, and another thing, we have a lot of gold. We have 1100 gold here. Actually, I don't think we get any. Wait, isn't it 1100? Do we actually get
I
Divine
think we
Sunderer
get
here?
Sandra
Yeah,
from that, yeah.
yeah. So 1100 is actually Sunderer as well. So that's another really important thing. You have item power spike. But in general, like how I like to think about recalling is because you sometimes you run out to the situations when you have a lot of gold and you're kind of like stuck on the map and doing whatever. So the basic rule I have for recalling is recall when you have 1.5k in your pocket, just look to recall instantly or as soon as possible. That's kind of the basic rule. But obviously, we always want to recall when we have this power spike. So again, like recall on the item. Yeah, because again, we could apply the 20-second rule. Let's say we start recalling here. So yep, we can start recalling here. For example, go to this brush. Takes us 8 seconds to recall. We would be back on the map 1140. So let's see 1140. So yeah, we would actually be here right now with Divine Sunderer, and we could be able to fight this trade. But now, obviously, we haven't spent our gold. We are still half HP. It's not a good fight to take, you know.
Yeah.
So again, you can like use the 30 seconds to the middle of the map kind of thing as a baseline rule. But yeah, there's nothing really going on here. I would just concede this because again, we have so much gold. We don't have HP. We don't have. Oh, we do have ult actually. But again, like the ult isn't that important on early game Trundle. It becomes more important in later on teamfight phases. You can make something really squishy. Yeah, we kind of hover around here. So that, yeah. Well, we do end up getting something out of it, but we end up dying. So the reason again we die is because we are creating to stay on the map. When we just need to look to recall again, item power spike, low HP, we want to recall just so we can impact the map better. So basically, always recall if it helps you to impact plays better. That's a
Okay.
basic rule.
I thought I stay there because they likely gonna overextend into bot, like with the herald. So would you still recall if you see they're getting really punished on bot?
At
Think
this
they're really
moment,
low.
I mean, the thing to notice here is that the top lane has actually shifted to the mid lane here. These guys are not really able to help you. They don't have ult, they don't have HP, they don't have mana. So yeah, I mean it's basically you and Ahri against the world if you want to stay here. And again, like we have item power spike, we are missing health. I probably wouldn't stay for this because again, like this is really coin flip what we are doing here. And obviously we don't want the coin flip. We want to go for this. We want to play kind of as safe as possible. So again, this is like really high risk. This kind of high reward, but again, like we have to think about the risk there is. The risk is greatly larger that we actually get something out of this than we just recalling earlier, and we could have been actually here with the divine, with full HP, stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I mean we kind of like already get like kind of poked out by this guy. I think this guy would actually just kill you here. EQ ult, for example, he could just ult you here and you would die. But again, like we have to run instantly back after getting hit by one guy. So and you are thinking about killing these three guys here. Like yeah, it's just not
Yeah, it's
likely
too
to happen.
greedy.
Yeah, it's too greedy and too coin flip. Too greedy, too coin flip. So basically, the way I think about it is that you always want to, as a jungler and in league in general, you always want to go for the high percentage play. So the play which is likely to work out, because obviously it makes the risk a lot larger, a lot smaller, and you end up winning a lot more games. Because in League of Legends, it's all about consistency in the decision making, for example. So again, if you were like fucking smurfing, you would have recalled you divine, and you would have been able to actually fight this. Because again, we would have divine, we would be full HP, stuff like that. And divine obviously is something you want to go for as soon as possible on any champion, but specifically on Trundle, it's such a huge power spike. It just allows you to do so much more than only with the components. So we end up running back towards the Drake. They actually didn't take the Drake, interesting.
Yeah, because they killed all of them. Ahri killed all of them.
Oh, really? Yeah, she did.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that actually ended up working. That it was me and Ahri against the world. But yeah, again, like this isn't like we didn't actually have much to do with this play to begin with, you know. So again, like kind of go for the high percentage. Just take the safe kind of thing you can get away with, which is the recall, get item. This would have been a lot easier if we had the item, you know. Or we actually even have we run futures market. So again, just always recall for the item power spike. It's so important. It's something you want to keep in mind. And in early game, it is recall for the sheen. So the first component you want is usually the sheen. It's gonna like allow you to actually play the game. So there are of course situations where you cannot recall, but like always just look for the recall. Like we had so many good opportunities to recall here before this Drake fight even started, you know, stuff like that. But
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on. Yep, again, I would probably buy the pink here because we are heading to an objective. Just grab the pink. So what ended up happening? We left basic. We're gonna assist here. We're gonna assist. Oh yeah, because you're running these funny runes. Oh yeah, that's why we have first strike with treasure hunter. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but again, just grab the pink for the objective. Especially like we even know there's wards here, so obviously we want to deny the wards. You can do it with your sweeper as well, but like in general, for the objective, grab a pink ward. Fight ends up happening. They chase him, good. React to the map. Look for something here. Okay, they do dive. Now we can look for something really good, really good. We kind of wait around. Nice, that's a good pillar. That's a good pillar. I love the pillar. And now again, they're kind of they're really creative for this Drake. I think this can go really well for your team. We have Ahri coming here with all GPs around here. So, but again, what you want to do in this kind of situation is kind of wait for your team. So this is really good what you're doing here, but always always keep in mind where your team is, and you want to go in as soon as your team is able to deal damage. So this is really good what you're doing here. We are kind of like buying time and kind of like waiting for our team to get here, and this is really important. This is what you always want to do. So basically, the general rule is in fighting. Hit the target your team is able to hit. So this is especially important for example, early game 2v2s and stuff like that. So you actually hit the same target your team is hitting, so you can focus fight that damage. Yep, and now we go in since GP is already in the fight. He's been caught out, he's been doing some damage. Ahri is really close. Yep, this is really good team fight. We are being really patient with the engage. Awesome, I love this. Really good. So again, we can maybe learn from something from the enemy team. They're really creating for this. Again, what the enemy team fails to notice here, GP is actually the top laner is mid lane. Again, that's something they forget about this. And another thing is their top lane is actually in the top lane. So already this is a bad situation. And the next best thing is this Trace is low HP. They just use flash and sums on the bot lane fight. So they are really creating. This is what you don't want to do. What the enemy team is doing here. So again, always look out for where your team is, and especially these top laners for this 40-minute or 14 to 16-minute objectives. The top laner usually starts coming for this fight. So that's another thing you want to keep tab of. So yep, this is really good. So tap it down. 40 minutes. Really good team fight. Just kind of running around, waiting for your team to close the distance. Commit when your team does. Really fucking good. I love this. This is a really good team fight. Really good patience. And that's another thing you always want to have in League of Legends: patience. Patience is so fucking important in this game. Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard to control yourself sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, these low HP targets, but your mid lane is like really close coming in. So that's for example something that junglers hate is when you are pathing towards a gank and then they just go all in before you even get there. You're like, fuck these guys, they're so fucking dumb, bro. There's always that's something you need to think. You need to apply yourself as well. So have patience in general, especially in these teamfight situations. So, yep. Now again, we can look to maybe cut off this ADC from coming back to lane. I like this. But again, the one thing I would consider here, or the two things we would consider here, we have a lot of gold. Again, like look to recall as soon as possible, kind of stuff. And the other thing is, all the camps are up on the top side, and the herald is up on the top side. So again, like when you decide on a play, think of what you might be losing. So again, like we probably will end up losing the. What's going on with the second screen? We might end up losing the herald, but we also might end up losing the three camps here. But yeah, I like this because again, this is really high percentage, because we know these guys use sums. We have Bard ult. I want to say Pratt ult. I don't know why. But yeah, we have Bard ult here. Yep, we got him off. Very good. Oh, okay. Lillia actually ends up coming here. She doesn't want to trade. So again, this is the mistake on Lillia's part. What you want to do is that I don't know why she's coming to this bot play anyway. Maybe she wants to make a ult play. I don't know. But again, as Lillia, you probably want to kind of trade sides. But yeah, I don't want to go into in-depth analysis. For example, if you play, if this Lillia has challenger, I would understand this pathing because he's covering the dive and the slow push. But it's whatever. I don't think she's thinking about that stuff. But yeah, anyway, really good stuff.
I don't think so either.
Yep. Well, let's see. Gnar is coming here. Yep, really good. Again, kind of like this small wins mindset. Okay, we got one of them. We get a turret. Now we can leave. Really fucking good. Again, take the small wins. So again, maybe we just let our team die here. There's probably nothing we can do. Okay, can we kill her? Yep, ahri ends up rotating as well. Awesome, really fucking good stuff. So this is where we actually win the game, yeah. But again, like when you're approaching these situations where okay, I want to go for a play, the one thing you want to think about is how unfair is this fight. So when you start the fight, before you even start the fight. So again, in League of Legends, we always want to look out for the unfair fight. In League, always take the unfair fight. So because that's obviously, again, it's way more high percentage.
Yeah.
Way higher percentage. And that's, again, what we want to look out for, the high percentage plays. So why this fight is unfair, these guys are coming out of base. We know if they have no ult and no sums. And we have 3 people here kind of ready to cut them off. So I really like this. But again, like if we were thinking that this is going to be a 4v4 or 5v5, we probably wouldn't want to take this because, again, we have a lot of gold in the pocket. But yep, this is really good. And again, the small wins here. Take what you can and leave. Really good. Love that. And then we end up extending the play here. Luckily, our team is able to pick it up. Good. Again, yeah. So the reason why we start running again is okay. We got what we came here for. And again, it's turning into a fair fight. And again, fair fight is not something we want. especially when we have a lot of gold. So this guy's rotating. We are like, oh shit, we have to leave. It's gonna be a 3v3. We probably don't want to take the 3v3, but we can freely take the 3v2. So yeah, I think Gna ends up here as well. Well, wait, no, Gna. Wukong, was Wukong here? No. Okay, so it's not being 4v4. But yep, good stuff. Also, if you don't use this time, I think I don't really like this in general, but like, I think it's just turn it off.
Yeah, I don't even see it in game, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of, it's just like, I like to keep my screen as minimal as possible, of course, but like, this stuff is just like so unnecessary. This like,
What
I
do you
just dislike
think? Is
progress.
Titanic Hydra here grief? Like, is it too late already for going for her Hydra?
No, I don't think that encounter is bad at all. I think that's that's one of the few things Trundle wants to build up the divine. One item I usually end up going for on Trundle. A second item is I usually go for Torn Mail, but again, like I like to play more on the tanky Trundle. I like to play the tank Trundle. But yep. So we go for display. Again, what you want to think of is the late game objectives. It's usually going to be a team fight. So again, we want to think about where our team is. So if 5 people rock up here, where the fuck our team is. Again, we don't have any clue on the enemy team side. So again, we want to kind of expect the worst. Okay, the enemy team could be here. Is my team able to help me if they are here?
That's actually really risky there.
Yep. So how I like to think about is every time you enter river, I want you to think about it as an aggressive option. Entering river is always an aggressive option. Kind of like expect the worst. Expect the worst. If I run into someone, is my team able to help me? So this is something you always think about when you head for the first scuttle, for example. This is something you want to think about as the game progresses. For example, these objectives. Always think about, okay, when I enter this river, can someone actually kill me? Like this is, again, this is really coin flip that we just like go for this tunnel here and pillar. Another thing is, again, we don't know where the enemy. Oh, actually, we do see the enemy
We
team
see
here.
them, but yeah.
Okay. Yep, then this makes sense. But again, like what I want to do here is that I usually just drop the pink ward here so I get the information before I blast going into darkness, you know? So always when you go for these
Yeah,
plays,
makes sense.
if you have a pink
Makes
ward,
sense.
or another thing, if you have a if you play something with a dash, for example, wukong, you don't want the W over this wall again. Like save your W to get back out if you need to. But yep, probably end up getting it. This guy shows up. Ooh, tricky. Okay, so second herald. Yep, we just follow her around. Good stuff. Again, everyone's dead. Okay, there's something going on. really long fight. Everyone just coming here. So again, like the mistake the enemy team did here is again, Lillia comes here and she's like, she didn't think about, okay, who's able to help me when I run into these people. So again, this is like something you want to avoid. So always think about, okay, when I enter river, I kind of have to expect the worst. There's gonna be people there, most likely, especially if there's an objective. Who can help me? The Kaiser was the only one who could help in, and Kaiser is kind of not in a good position. We can see all of the enemy team being mid here. So yeah, again, we can learn something from the enemy here, fumbling the back. Just think about the way team is, especially when in the river. Yep, everyone's dead. We drop Herald here, okay. It's fine. Clear some vision, good. Push the bot side. Yep. Yep, I really like this Herald. One thing I would like to mention is that in this game we are really far ahead here. We have all the tier 2 options, tier 2s here. But generally how I like to use second Herald. Second Herald usage. Always look to break one of these side lane tier 2 turrets. Right lane tier 2 turrets. Before mid. Obviously, there is or kind of like situations where you, for example, kill the enemy team here, then you have like, okay, I have Herald, whatever, let's just go through this base. But in general, what I like to do with second Herald is I want to break these side lane tier 2 turrets before
Okay.
mid. So the reason why is that, first of all, the tier 2 in the bot and top, it gives double the gold of this turret. It gives you 600 gold to the one person who breaks it. So basically a double kill. This turret here gives only 300. And the more important thing here is that it's easier for your team to kill the mid turret when you are already hitting the top turret. So this also applies to, for example, Baron macro. So actually, let's see how can I explain it better. So So let's say you siege this turret, you want to kill this turret. There's like an enemy here, there's like an enemy top side here, for example, Lillia, and there's Wukong here on the bot side. So if you pop Herald here, these guys can just freely like walk here, right? I think it's just like walk here and kind of defend the wave. But if we were using it, for example, on the top side, so we Herald here, this guy has to walk all the way through here to come even defend the push. So that's basically the kind of the basic principle behind why you want to prioritize the side lane turrets before the mid lane. And another thing is when you start when you start heralding the bot lane, these guys are gonna start rotating towards to fight the push. Maybe this guy as well. So that allows your team to actually push these lanes in and kind of get to free hit these turrets. You know if that makes sense. That's basically the way where you also use Baron. We can actually see if we go to a Baron play in this game. But yeah, so basically mid lane side lanes first because it's harder to the enemies to rotate between mid and the side lanes, for example. This guy has to walk all the way here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Do we actually get Baron here? We could look at the Baron. Baron usage here. Actually, I'm going to check how much time we have left. Yeah, we actually have a bit over time, so let's see. Let's see. Is there something important you want to talk about this board? Questions?
I mean, you made some things clear to me, so I should play a bit more careful when like killing someone and play around timers a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
Yep. Also, this moment. Oh yeah, go ahead. We said something. Okay.
I think I learned a lot. It's just need to actively apply it in the games.
Yep, and I'm thinking that it's a lot of information for an hour long. Like you just have to watch the word pack once I upload it. But yeah, so this part of the game is when a lot of people get confused, and kind of we do as well. So we have no objectives up. It's going to be 1 minute Drake and 1 minute Baron. So what I always think about in these kind of situations, obviously we can go for these freebies as we see fit, but we don't want to force the play. So this is especially important when you are ahead. For example, this game when we are ahead, we don't want to force. What we want to do is we want to just play for the objectives, because again, when you go for these force type of plays, you kind of like start diving the turrets and kind of start forcing the inhibitors. What it does, it just puts you in an unfavorable situation when you can just wait around and get these objectives kind of thing. So what you want to do in these kind of situations when nothing is up and it's you just gotta have to wait. You can look for the invades, for example, and just hit your camp. So the general idea is to just like play around the objective timers. We don't want to force plays. Just wait for objective. So basically, how I think about it is that you think of it, okay, but we are not growing our lead, and that's right. But the most important thing is that we are not endangering our lead. Basically, we don't grow a lead, but we also we are not bleeding out. Yeah. We are not in a risk of losing the lead. So that's like the more important thing, because when you start losing your lead in situations like this, it just gives the team like a free ticket victory. They start getting Baron and Herald and stuff like that. So kind of like play more careful. Like here, for example, we are just kind of like really forcing down. Like we just really want something to be done here. So that's something you want to think about. If this was a harder game, for example, we could just risk dying here, we lose Drake, and then we can die again, and then we lose Baron, and we have thrown the game. So stuff like that.
Yep.
Let's play the objectives. Yeah, and the general rule again, we are ahead. We don't need to force. The enemies are the ones who has to force because they are behind. They need to go for the Hail Mary play, So they actually come to us anyway. So that's the idea behind it. Just go for the objective, because the enemy has to come here. Then we can fight them on the objective. And again, they are losing, so they'll probably lose. But if we go for this like a kind of like a 2v5 situations here, that's how we start losing the game. That's how we start throwing the game. So let's wait to objectives. No need to go for risky plays when the game can be ended in a few minutes with Baron. No to go for risky plays. The losing side is the one who has to get the Hail Mary play. We don't want to give them that opportunity,
And that's where a lot of games are lost, because you just
exactly
too hard.
this mid game situation, all the objectives are down. People start to go for the ARAM and stuff like that, So this is like this is exactly the moment when people start losing games. They don't know what to do. You just want to get as much gold and money into you as possible, and kind of do the safe play. You can just kind of go for these camps, and you don't even need to fight here, because again, we are ahead. We don't need to fight. The enemies are the ones who need to fight us, So yeah, it's just general player on the objective. We can look out for some Baron action here. I don't think we need to. We are kind of really far ahead.
I wanted to do it, but they refused.
Yeah. Yep, and Baron is always good. Yeah, I don't think there's really much Baron max with the cover here. We just kind of walk down the super
Yeah,
minions here because we are so far
we are
ahead.
too far ahead, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is really good. We go for the one turret we actually haven't broken yet. But yeah, the basic rule what you want to do with the inhibitors down with Barons is walk down the super minions. It's really fucking hard to defend against them. Turn 3 just walk down super waves with Baron. Really difficult to play against. And again, in general, with Baron, play with the waves. The waves are your friend, especially when you have Baron, like because they get the biggest buff, not you or your team. It's the minions. So just kind of always play kind of slow with Baron. Let the minions do the work for you. Play with waves. The minions do the work for you. Yep. But if you don't have any more questions, this is basically it for this session. I'm gonna send you these notes right now, and I'm gonna upload this to YouTube probably tonight or as soon as possible, probably right now actually. And I'm gonna send the link. And again, you want to watch it back because it's a lot of information. To make sure something sticks, just watch it back a few times at least.
Yeah, I will.
Yep. Yep. That's it. I wish you luck on your journey, and yep, I'll be back to you with the bot shortly.
Thank you very much, man.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. You as well.
Bye
See ya.
bye.